As we reported a few weeks ago, the Labor Department has released new H-2A rules, the final rule agricultural producers must follow to certify their temporary laborers. Some say the Labor Department looks at this program more as a worker protection program than a program for employers to hire foreign workers. American Farm Bureau labor specialist Ron Gaskill says the new labor rule seems to assume that domestic workers would fill most job openings. That isn't necessarily the case.
The challenge with agriculture is that even though employers recruit domestic workers before they hire foreign workers, the fact is domestic workers have a very poor track record of staying employed in agriculture. They quit. And you get circumstances where you get an H-2A worker in, a domestic worker comes under the rule, the employer has to interview that domestic worker, and if that domestic worker qualifies, he has to hire that domestic worker. And even if that means terminating the employee of the H-2A worker and sending the H-2A worker home. Now, with the lack of reliability of the domestic workforce, these folks end up quitting, either days or within a couple of weeks, or certainly within a month of coming to work for the employer. And you get a circumstance where that employer now has not only lost the domestic employee, but he's lost the foreign employee that he recruited because he couldn't find the domestic employee in the first place. So he has nobody, and usually he's got a harvest of a perishable commodity that is compromised.
The new labor rules may require farmers to provide domestic employees the same housing and transportation that is provided for H-2A workers.
H-2A workers are required to be provided transportation and housing, not only from the place of country to the workplace, but also every day going out to the work site and back to the housing facility. That transportation needs to be provided. So, under the new rule and the corresponding employment provision, domestic employees would also, especially those that travel from a distance further than overnight, would have to be provided housing, and all would have to be provided transportation from the workplace to the individual work site and back every day.
Gaskill went on to say the new farm labor rules do not address the needs of U.S. agriculture.
Crops have to be tended, cows have to be milked. It's incredibly important for these functions to continue on a regular basis, and you can't have a program that is vacillating back and forth in terms of whether it can be used, whether it cannot be used, how easy it is to work, how not easy it is to work. We need a program that functions for U.S. agriculture, and this one doesn't do it.